All right, welcome to Yin Yang Yoga. We'll be working on blocks and strap, bolster and blanket. I'm just going to make sure the video is up and running. That looks good. Let's start in kneeling pose, Thunderbolt, Vajrasana, sitting on one or two blocks. You can come onto a block on its edge if you prefer. So we're going to be working on a very little band here tonight around the waist and the hips, the internal thighs, external thighs, low back. So take the hands and bring the hands to the low back, spread the hands out and just start to feel the contact from the waist down to where the fingertips end, down through the glute area. And then bring them to the side, just feeling the side hips from the waist down to wherever your fingertips run. And then here into the middle, into the groin area. All right, moving into the adductors area. So it's a very small little band, but there's a heck of a lot going on in that little band. Lots of muscles. Lots of muscles stabilizing the pelvis, stabilizing the base of the spine. And as you sit in Vajrasana, exhaling, create a little tension in the belly, a little drawing back in the navel, a little tightening. And notice how that also squeezes the pelvic floor. And that squeezing of the pelvic floor moves a little bit into the glutes and then relax as you inhale. So you're creating a little pumping here. Exhale, squeeze in that little band we talked about, abdominals down to the internal thighs, and then relax as you exhale. And notice as you create that little pumping motion with the breath, you engage these muscles. And then as you inhale, just let all that engagement go. So there's a release, an expansion. Some people liken it to, as you inhale, it's like laying an egg. That whole area relaxes and expands. And as you exhale, you squeeze and tighten, pulling in like you're trying to fit into a tight pair of jeans. So just create that little muscular movement in that area. And know, even though we're focused on this little area, that it's attached to other muscles that run down to the knees, back into the spine, into the low back. So this whole area is alive with very strong muscles. And then on the next inhale, bring the bottoms of the feet underneath the knees, coming into campfire pose. Let's extend the legs for a moment, curl the toes back, release the calf muscles and the hamstrings. Bend the left knee and bring the left foot underneath that right hip. You might like to adjust whatever you're sitting on. You might like to come up higher or lower, and that left knee pointing straight ahead. And then the right knee comes up and over into shoelace pose. So starting to feel this exterior side of the hips here. Just give that exterior side a little rub so you get in touch with the stretching sensation on the exterior hip area. The more you bring, let's do something interesting tonight. Let's grab the strap. You got the strap in this one. I should have practiced this before I decided to teach it, but we'll see how we go. All right, so I want you to take the strap over that right foot and bring the strap behind you. So bring your right hand behind and grab the strap and pull that right foot back a little bit with the strap. So you're feeling a little more stretch sensation in that outer right side. So you created as much tension as you want. On that right side. Bring the left hand over that right knee and start to pull on the strap and pull on the right knee so both arms are actively engaged, creating a rotation in that right shoulder, thoracic spine starting to open up. At any time, if the sensations become excessive or too distracting, ease off with the pull on the strap. Otherwise, give that strap a good firm pull so you're not releasing, you're not relenting on that external right thigh. With the next exhale, see if you can turn a little more, bringing that right shoulder back a little more. Exhale, bring it back a little more. Doesn't have to be much. Keep the chin over the chest. We're not cranking the neck. We're really bringing that thoracic spine back and feeling that exterior right hip down into that right thigh. Gently exhale, release the strap. Bring both hands on top of that right knee. And feel the central axis of the body lift up, shoulders back and down. Let's notice, dig into the belly, lift the belly up and then hinge forward, bringing the hands into umbrella hands onto the floor, hinging over that front thigh. And then you can start to walk those hands out, letting the head drape down towards the knee. Walk out a little further if you can. Allow the rib cage to sink into that front thigh. And then gently walk back. Lift the head up last, come into campfire pose. Extend the legs, lean back into the hands, curl the toes back towards the shins and release the calves. Bring the right underneath. So the right knee points forward, and then the left knee is going to come over the top this time. You can wiggle that left foot back more towards the right hip, creating your maximum overlap, knee over knee, shoelace pose. I find the elevated hips help me with this pose. And then let's hook up that left foot, bring the strap behind you, and then start to bring the left shoulder back as you pull the the left foot back. So left foot comes back. And just notice the two hips right now. What's happening here? You can use that right hand against the left knee to create more of a rotation. So you're using isometric principles here to hold the thoracic spine in the twist. And as you did in Thunderbolt pose, see if you can become aware of your exhale in such a way that as you exhale, you draw the navel in and you feel yourself sit up a little taller. You feel an engagement with the pelvic floor, the abdominals, and the diaphragm, these very deep, strong stabilizers, stabilizing muscles. Keep that right shoulder relaxed even though it's isometrically engaged with that left knee. And see if you can bring that left shoulder back a bit more. You might find your left hand walks a little closer to the foot, pulling it back, opening up that left pec, right shoulder relaxes, and then work those deep stabilizing core muscles, abdominals, pelvic floor, diaphragm on the exhale. Can you turn a little more? A little more. And then exhale, release the twist, keeping shoelace, scoop the flesh of the belly in and up, hinge forward, umbrella hands, head drops, back of the neck tractions out, relax the back muscles. And then walking the hands forward, let the head come down. Walk a little further forward. And then gently walk the hands back up. Release the strap. Lean back. Come through campfire pose. Then extend the legs, curl the toes back, releasing the back of the legs after that deep fold. All right, the Iguinals, huh? Let's come to the internal thighs here. And I'm going to recommend you take your blanket and make your burrito out of the blanket. So the burrito shape is kind of gives you a little thickness to the blanket, like that, or a towel, and then sit on the edge of that to give your hips a little forward tilt. You can always roll the mat up underneath you to create a similar effect. And we're going to start in dragonfly pose. Feeling the internal thighs, toes curled back. If you have a bolster, you can bring the head forward onto the bolster. If you have blocks, you can rest the head on blocks. Just giving the internal thighs an opportunity to extend. Also, with the toes curled back, it gives the back of the legs that opportunity to extend out. Through the back of the legs. It's nice to support the head if you can. It really allows focus to go into the hips and the legs. And see if you can work on relaxing the upper body, the torso, the shoulders, the neck and the face. So there's no grimacing here. There's no sense of efforting in the upper body. Looking for all this deliciousness in that low area. If your head is starting to feel heavy on the blocks, you might consider bringing them to a lower level and just noticing if you have more range of motion. And then exhale, bring the hands underneath you, push yourself up. Have your strap handy, bend your right knee and bring the sole of the foot into that extended left thigh. strap around the left foot, scoop the flesh from the left side of the belly, hinge forward, and bring the right hand down in front of the left hand, so there's more of a rotation happening here. Right hand moving down towards the foot. If your hand is easily reaching the foot, you can bring a block at the base of the foot and wrap your hand around the block. So still working that right arm a little further down the strap than the left. Noticing where you feel this in the body. And then gently walk the hand back up. And then slide that right hand back towards the back of the strap and cross the left hand underneath and grab your right knee. So your left hand is underneath, right hand is grabbing the strap, and then start to lift that right elbow up over the head. So you're coming into a little side bend here. And with that left hand anchored to the knee, you should feel plenty of stretch sensation through that right rib cage. Now push down through the right sit bone and lift the right elbow a little more and walk your hand down the strap. So your hand is starting to gobble up the strap like a piece of spaghetti. And you're walking that right hand down towards the left foot. And of course, when you find delicious discomfort, you hang out here. Push down through that right sit bone. You really feel that right sit bone pushing down. You lift up with that right elbow and you gobble up a little more spaghetti. And you notice what it's like to breathe in this position. Keep curling the toes of that left foot back. Push down through that right sit bone, really feeling that right hip release. Lift the elbow, gobble up the spaghetti. And then gently release. Come up slowly, very gradually, very gently. Ha! Big smile on the face as the body goes, wow. So hopefully you felt a lot of stretch sensation in a lot of places just now. The body should feel quite spacious. A lot of sensation rushing back in the echo of that pose. Bend the left knee. And just hang out in relaxed pose. Still noticing the echo of the last shape. Change sides, extend the right, coming to that half dragonfly on this side. Strap up And we're going to walk the left hand down beyond the right to get that rotation started in that left hip. So the left hip's coming forward, right hip's coming back, and that's going to allow you to extend the left arm closer to the feet. So you feel it back in the hips, right hip back, left knee, hip forward, bringing that left hand further down the strap. So feel that in the hips. Hip rotation, arm extension. So a lot of this work is that awareness in the hips and the sit bones to stabilize and begin, be a foundation for the rotation. You can relax the head if you like. Upper body can stay relaxed. And once we hit the hips, remember that little band we felt out at the beginning of class. You can bring your imaginary hands around that girdle. Just feeling the back girdle, the side girdles, the Iguinal girdle. So you've really got that whole area. And then of course underneath the right leg, the hamstring is getting plenty of stretch here. And then gently walk back. Come out slowly. When we come into deep lumbar twists like that, we really got to be careful coming out. Give the body time to come back to homeostasis. Whew. The nervous system getting a nice stimulation here. And then take both ends of the strap into the left hand. The right hand's going to come underneath and grip that left knee. So we just start to feel that twist in the opposite direction. Drive out through the right heel. And because the hips, so the right hip's coming forward now, left hip's coming back, and you're sitting up taller. Right shoulder blade comes away from the spine, and the left shoulder blade retracts. So you're feeling a lot of twisting, rotational components here. Now start to lift the left elbow up and start to look up towards the ceiling. So you've got this lift in the elbow, which opens up the ribs, the armpit, creates new sensations within the twist. And then become aware of the left sit bone. As it pushes down, you can lift the left elbow up and chew up a little bit of rope there, a little bit of cord, a little bit of spaghetti. As you move that left hand down towards that right foot. Toes of the right foot staying back, curled back. And this is a really progressive pose, so there's no hurry. The body starts to settle in to each base camp. And then start with the sit bone, push it down, lift the elbow up, keep looking up towards the ceiling so that top elbow is coming back. It's not dropping down in front of the face, it's coming back. This has a big impact on the respiratory system, so keep the breath flowing. Remember those muscles that we used at the beginning of class. Use them now in this Exhale, navel in. And the navel in will give you that little extra lift in the elbow as well. Three more breaths. On that third breath, with a lot of grace, gentleness, delicacy, lift yourself back, letting the arms support you where they can. All right, big stretch there in that little area of the body. So we're going to see what else we've got in the bank here for these parts of the body. Let's bring a bolster out to the left side of your mat. Now, if you don't have a bolster, you could use blocks end to end like this. Bolsters kind of got a nice size and height. You could use a rolled up blanket like your burrito blanket. Could be a replacement for a bolster. And come onto the belly. So we just did a lot of forward bending. So let's see what happens here if we bring that left knee and left ankle out, resting it on top of the bolster or the blanket. If this is too much, you can take the bolster or blanket away and bring it down to ground level. Come into goalpost arms here, with the side of the head turned towards the bent knee. You should be looking at a bent elbow, palms flat on the floor. Notice how your neck feels in this rotation. And bring your attention to that girdle that we wrapped our hands around at the beginning of class. Bring your imaginary hands onto your low back. Feel the sensations there. Slide your imaginary hands around to the side hips. Feel what's going on there. And then underneath the hip flexor groin area into the internal thighs. So for me, there's a lot of sensation right now. As long as it feels safe, invite the right arm back and rest the back of your right hand on your low back. So now there's a little more sensation in the low back part of the girdle. Right shoulder relaxed. So feeling this after the long forward bend. Once your low back stabilizes, invite the left arm back. So both arms resting on your low back. Both shoulders relaxed. Anytime this becomes too much, you have many options. You can return the hands to goalpost arms. If it's too much on the neck, you can rotate the forehead towards the floor and stack the hands under the forehead. You can also lower that left thigh at any time it's too much. Now activate the right leg, point the toes, and then lift the right leg off the ground. So your right foot, right knee, and right quadricep are all off the floor. You're feeling this in the glute, activating that right leg. Lift a little higher, a little higher, and then gently lower down. Release the hands and stack the hands under the forehead. Turn the left cheek onto the hands, rotating the head in the opposite direction. Bring the head back to neutral, keeping the left knee extended. You can remain in this shape. Push out through the left knee a little more, activate that inner thigh. If you'd like a little different sensation, relax the left thigh, keep the knee bent, and prop the elbows underneath the shoulders, close enough so the hands can reach the upper arms. Drop the hands, drop the head, relax the shoulders. Feel supported in this hybrid of half frog and sphinx. For a little more sensation, bring the elbows out an inch, hands to the sides of the mat. Push down through that right hip as you straighten the arms into seal pose. Extend out through the right foot, point the toes. Squeeze the right glute, the right butt. A lot of strength in that right leg as you push and hold this hybrid of seal pose and half frog. Exhale, drop the elbows. Bring that right knee back to the mat. Stack the hands under the forehead and relax. Roll onto the back, pick up the right knee, hug the right knee towards your ribs. Extend the right leg. bring your imagination, your imaginary hands around the waistline. Feel the low back. Feel left and right hip flexors, very different positions right now. Feel the front of the thighs and the internal thighs. Activate the right foot, so push out through the right heel, curl the toes of that right foot back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift the head, lift the shoulders, and lift the shoulder blades off the mat, curl up. Squeeze that knee. Lift the right foot 2 inches off the ground. And then grab the left foot with the right hand and pull it in nice and close. Keep the head and shoulder blades lifted. Keep the right foot lifted. Keep squeezing into pigeon pose as you lay the head and the right foot down. Keep the back of the neck long. If the back of the head needs support here, support it. Keep squeezing pigeon. Push out through the right heel. Toes curled back on the right foot. Take a deep breath in, exhale, lifted pigeon. Lift the head, shoulders, shoulder blades, and right foot up. Left hand is going to take over that left foot. Right hand is free. And come back into half happy baby wind reliever pose. So really hitting that left leg in many different dimensions right now. Feeling that whole area around the left low back, the left hip flexor, the external thigh, the internal thigh. And then straighten the left leg to the sky. Grab the back of the hamstring. Curl the fingers around the back of the hamstring if you can. If you cannot reach the hamstring, use a strap. Curl those toes back. Keep the back of the neck long, so there's no strain in the neck. Keep the leg in the air, release the hands. Toes curled back. Push up through that left heel, push out through the right heel, and on the count of 10, we're going to lower that left leg to the floor. 10. Keep pushing through the left heel. 9. Push through the left heel. Curl the toes back. 8. 7. Keep plenty of extension through the left leg. 6. 45 degrees, down to 5, So the last 45 degrees. Push through the heel. 4. Push through the heel. 3. Through the heel. 2. Through the heel. Lengthen. 1. We should be at about 9 degrees. 8 degrees. 7 degrees. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And somewhere the floor should be just about there. And then relax. Relax. Let's try the other side. So we're going to roll back onto the belly and bring the bolster to the other side. Or you can switch head and feet around and keep the same side. Whatever works. Right knee, right ankle. Goalpost arms. Head rotated towards the bent knee. Notice that band, that girdle, low back. Let's just notice left and right for a start. Left and right should feel very different. That left side is being worked. The right side's just beginning. Notice how the neck feels on this side. We haven't talked about the neck for a while. Push that right knee out further if you can. Notice how that internal thigh feels. Left arm rests on low back if that's appropriate. Left shoulder relax. Notice how far the low back has come since we did that first forward bend. Right arm back. And feel the weight of those relaxed shoulders on the neck and the weight of those relaxed arms on the low back. Remember your options to reduce the intensity by making any adjustments you need to. Otherwise, enjoy your breath in this prone position. Start to point the toes of the left foot and lift the left foot. Point the toes and lift the left knee. Lift the left thigh if you can. Keep pointing the toes. Keep lifting. Push that left hip into the mat. Exhale, release and lower. Push that right knee out a little more if you can, if that feels good on that internal thigh, that rotator, external rotator. And then release the hands, stack the hands under the forehead. Rotate the head in the opposite direction. Bring the head to neutral. Once again, your options. You can stay in this hybrid, crocodile and half frog. You can prop the elbows up under the shoulders. Head relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Sphinx, half frog hybrid. And you can always activate that inner thigh, pushing that right knee out at any time if you are enjoying that adduction, or abduction, I should say. Option to come into the seal by bringing the elbows and hands out wider. Push down, activate through the left leg as you straighten through the arms. Exhale, release, come down. Bring that right knee back to join the left. Stack the hands. Bring your imaginary hands onto the low back, over the glutes. Around the outside of the girdle. outer hips, inner hips. Roll onto the back when you're ready. Pick up the right knee and hold it in towards your ribs. Activate through that left heel, right heel, squeeze. Deep breath in, lift the head, shoulders, shoulder blades up. Come into your crunch, left foot 2 inches off the mat. Bring your imagination into the girdle around the low back, hips. Squeeze and lift. Left hand grabs that right foot. Now you squeeze into pigeon. Lift a little higher, squeeze a little higher. Feel that low back release. Now let's take that right foot, peel it away. Half happy baby, lay the head down, lay the head down. Getting into that right leg. Push out through the left heel. Straighten the right leg. Hands clasp hamstring. Pull back through the right toes. Spread the right toes. Push up through the right heel. Back of the neck long. Push up through heel to the sky, heel along the floor, release the hands. 10. Activate the right leg. 9. Square the hips. Right hip down, left hip up. 8. Drive out through the heel. 7. 6. Push through the right heel. 45 degrees. Right hip down, left hip up. 4. Keep lifting that left hip up. 3. When I say up, up towards your armpit. 2. So you're hiking the hip. 10 degrees. Push that right foot out. 5 degrees. 4, 3, push through the foot. 2, and contact and relax. Whew, just relax the whole body. Feel the girdle, low back, around the kidneys. top of the waist, into the glutes. Outside of the hips. Iguinals inside. Let them all relax. And then when you're ready, gently bending both knees, standing the feet on the bolster. Roll to one side, curl up into a little ball. Unless you want to hang out in Shavasana, you can. And make your way up to a seated pose. Wide seated pose in your non-habitual cross. Oh. And notice how you feel at the end of practice today. Notice what's alive, what's relaxed, what's opened. Notice your posture. Just bring your hands together at prayer position. Let the head bow in gratitude. Namaste.